deep from a bunker in a top secret location. In southern Indiana comes a gathering of the Gospel Broalition. If it's religion, politics, cars, guns, cigars, and anything else flammable, we're talking about it. For men, by manlier men. Get it? Got it? Good. This is the Gospel Broalition. And here are your hosts, Pastor Lee, J.R. Robinson, and the Hoosier Hillbilly, Mike Paul.
This is why you need a separate guy to do all the tech stuff. Somebody who's actually not involved in the podcast. Because, folks, for the second week in a row, J.R. Robinson, who told me not to say anything about this.
You told me, I asked you.
Failed to hit the record button again.
That's 2 weeks in a row.
That's 2 weeks in a row. Where we do all this fantastic, witty stuff at the beginning, and it's like we're not recording. And so
I was literally on the floor. Rolling.
I know. I know. We had to stop. We were laughing so hard.
And that's when we realized that we weren't recording.
And then we're not recording. So
let's ignore the fact of all the magic I had to make happen before the
Oh, he did. He did. He put a lot of effort into it. Maybe it's not as much as I have, but that's okay.
Effort, but it's
But welcome to the Gospel Broalition. We're glad that you're here, and we're glad that you decided to roll with the bros, which is our 90s catchphrase that we're using.
It is. It's very 90s.
I think it's cool, man. We got a bro mug here, which, by the way, this is trademarked. So if you try to use this, if you want to use the Gospel Broalition for your men's ministry, you can. Just give credit where credit is due. Let us know. We'd like to know what you guys are doing.
Like and subscribe.
Hit that like button out at the bottom. Just kidding. We don't have one.
No, we don't.
So we're just a bunch of guys here who have gotten together for a podcast. And if you think, well, this is the first time these yahoos have done it, which honestly, it does seem like sometimes it is the first time we've done it. But we do this a lot. We have sat around for the past 2 or 3 years, and we just talk about stupid stuff. And Mike and I watch a show called Top Gear with Jeremy Clarkston and Richard Hammond and James May, the best show that's ever been on television. And we kind of noticed as we sat around, Mike and I would talk about how each one of us kind of assumed the roles of each individual within that group.
Yeah.
That was hard to say. And so I came across as Clarkston, who is very bombastic, very loud, breaks things and makes people mad. And Mike was the Richard Hammond, the speed freak, the crazy guy who would try anything, wreck a lot.
It's hurt.
And then you had JR over here, the pseudo-intellectual. And
the intellectual.
Pseudo means fake, by the way. You had to tell a pseudo-intellectual that pseudo means fake, then he's not an intellectual. But now James, JR is the cultured guy. Well, it is James.
It is James. So
right, okay.
The J stands for James.
Yeah, okay. So, all right.
It fits. I mean,
I just finally got that. But I'm slowly picking up.
Pseudo.
But he's the culture guy, the tech guy. And so we just thought, man, why can't we just do something like a Top Gear for Christian guys where we get on here and fart around and talk about stupid stuff? And because Top Gear was set up like we're going to talk about cars, and then they talked about everything else but cars. Well, we're going to talk about religion, Christianity, and then we're going to talk about everything else but that. So we're not doing another Christian podcast. We're just we talked about that last week with which we're not going to put that program on because it was terrible. But we talked about last week, is he a Christian rapper or is he a rapper who's a Christian? Well, we're Christian guys who are doing a podcast. It's not a Christian podcast. Does that sound good?
Going to get our opinions one way or the other. You might not like them.
Yeah.
90% of people probably not going to like our opinions, but
yeah, and I think it'll go better because if the blue hairs are watching, they'll be like, oh, okay, well, it's not a Christian podcast. It's a podcast of just Christian guys, and so that's what we're doing. Kind of a different angle on stuff. So the show is kind of a parody, I would say, because there are manlier men out there, and when the guy was doing the intro, I said, make it as manly as you possibly can. I want to smell bacon when the thing is done. I mean, I want it to be awesome.
He does sound really good.
It does sound really good. It makes us sound like really manly men, but we're not. JR barely goes outside. He does, right?
That's overrated.
I know.
You can't really tell how pale he is with this light.
I know. You can't. But actually...
Something else that I did perfect, by the way, the light, even though I can't hit the button.
Whoa.
Oh, yeah. but
Whoa.
sure, you notice that the lights are like aimed toward Mike and I, and we try to keep the lights off JR because he'll glow. Because he's so white, he's transparent. I don't know. I forgot what I was talking. What was I talking about?
Parody.
Parody. Oh,
There you go.
Yeah. So there's a lot more manlier men out there and stuff like that. But I mean, I've got a guy who's doing my deck at our house down at the lake, and he's ex Special Forces Delta Tier 1 operative. And the guy across the street is Special Forces Green Beret. The guy next to him, Special Forces Green Beret. We have no crime problem within our neighborhood. But it's like, what do you do for a living? Well, I'm a pastor. I'm like, oh, great. But I did poop today.
Devil stomping pastor.
I'm a
See,
devil stomping
that's what
pastor.
you really got put on there. It makes it sound better.
I'm not your typical pastor. I smack around liberals. I'm not. So, so we do this as a joke. We laugh at ourselves. We're going to laugh at other people. We're going to offend people because we're going to laugh at a lot of people. But understand, we're laughing at ourselves too. And so we take what we do seriously. We take our Christianity, our work within the church. We take our relationships with our wives, our children. We take those things seriously. But ourselves, not so much. No. So hopefully that'll come across in the podcast. So why? Why put this together? Mike wants to be rich and famous, make money from this. JR?
Darn straight.
Why are you here?
Well, I'm here for you because you told me to be here.
Right, okay.
But like I said, I think we want to do this to be a difference in this industry or this avenue where we're going to hopefully stay slightly conservative traditional and be a podcast of Christian men that focuses on Christian things without failing.
Yeah. Because one of the things is like we're very conservative theologically, but we have a libertarian bent to ourselves. Mm-hmm. So we're like the cool Christians.
The cool Christians?
Yeah.
Didn't think there was such a thing, but
yeah. Yeah, there's no such thing as cool Christians. But, if there were, we are. Roll with the bros, the 80s, 90s. 90s. It's going to catch on, folks. It's going to be huge.
Hashtag
roll with the bros. I'm doing it because I have a heart for men's ministry, whatever that means. You ever notice how everybody has a heart for stuff, but nobody has...
What does that actually mean? I have a heart for this.
Why is it nobody has a heart for cleaning the church?
Well, because that's manual labor. No one has a heart for manual labor.
Pastor Lee, I just lay in bed at night thinking about those toilets. Nobody has, but somebody says, I have a heart for worship. It's like, no, you don't. It's not in the Bible. You don't have a heart for worship. A heart for children's ministry. It's like, I think you have a gift of teaching, but you like kids. Mm-hmm. And so when I say I have a heart for men's ministry, it's kind of in jest. I just feel sorry for guys. Guys within the church, I just do. And, they're needed more than anybody. Yes, I said that. They're needed more than anybody within the church, but yet they're neglected more than anybody.
Well, on a typical Sunday morning, how many times do you see, the wives show up?
The wives show up.
Stay at home.
Yep.
And that's
because there's nothing there for them.
There's nothing at the church for the men.
You come into the foyer or the foyer and
sing songs about how Jesus is going to breathe all over you.
Oh gosh, he's going to breathe on you, and then he's going to dance over you. And when he gets tired, he's going to lay down next to a tree, and you're going to put your head on his chest.
Yeah.
And hear him breathe. Why are you looking at your watch?
You may not remember this, but do you remember the first book you ever gave me to read?
Mm-mm.
It was called Why Men Hate Church.
Yeah, Why Men Hate Church.
It lines up perfectly with what you're saying right now.
Yeah. And so this is the Gospel Broalition is a bunch of guys who are basically going to get on here and tell you why guys hate church and things that we can do to help it. And because it needs help. Because it's been chickified. It just is. Everything is geared toward women. And I understand because women were the only ones coming. Yeah. But it's like if you made it more for guys... maybe more would show up.
When women's 90% of your demographic.
I know.
That's what you're going to do.
But, 30-minute sermons, you guys know, we're on YouTube and we're looking at videos. If it says longer than 20 minutes, we're not watching it. And that's the way guys are. They just like things in snippets. I'm sorry. I know, the hyper-Calvinists are pulling their hair out or the beard out right now. Hey. They're finally groomed oiled beard right now.
That's right.
And so, because, you need to preach for an hour. It's like, okay, if you want to lose every guy in your congregation, yeah, go ahead and do that. But it's just I feel sorry for them. I do, and I just want to help them. And I guess that's my calling. My calling has changed. I went from being a pastor to everybody to just really want to zero in on guys. So that's me, and you guys, you're just here. Thanks.
Yep.
I appreciate that.
Moral support.
And it is. I wanted to do this. These guys said, we'll just show up and say something stupid every once in a while. And I was like, that's great. That'll fit right in. But the thing is, we're going to have one episode where these two idiots start talking about the difference between Google and Amazon. And
I mean, there's really not a difference. Amazon's
Right.
superior in every way. But
And I'm going to lay on the floor and go to sleep. Because when these two start talking about it, they're like chipmunks on acid. And they get excited and their eyes start to dilate and stuff like that. And
we're kind of techies. I mean, he's way more techie than I am.
Yeah.
I just think it's cool stuff. I just don't understand it
Yeah.
sometimes.
But Mike you're probably the most manly guy here because you can fix stuff.
Wow.
Yeah, you can.
Say that one more time. Just, I mean,
No,
I know we're recording it, but I
Wait a minute. You're saying fix stuff. I mean, he could fix stuff outside.
he works
I
on
fixed
cars.
everything in this room.
Yeah,
that's
but
the third plug, by the way, that he's rolled for.
I know.
He has done an amazing job.
I think he's starving for attention.
No,
We-
I'm just
we appreciate
justifying
you,
the button
JR.
thing.
But I guess you would classify that.
I mean, a carpentry on the side. I mean,
I'm mechanically
remodeled.
challenged. Most pastors are, but I have to be
Yeah, I mean,
because I'm a good musician.
You
I'm
can-
a
you
good
can read-
athlete. I'm
you can
good
read
looking.
books.
I'm sexy. If I was
Well,
handy,
I
it'd
mean,
be too
I'm-
much for my wife.
I don't know.
Mechanically challenged, but not technically challenged. I'll settle for that.
Okay, yeah, I'm mechanically
I'll agree
challenged.
with
I am. My wife, if I hung like a towel hook, she'd be like, "I am so hot for you, right?"
Or just do the dishes, sweep the floor.
I know it.
Yeah.
I'm not doing the dishes, man. That's a woman's job. I'm not doing that.
Whoa! Trigger warning.
That's why we hired a dishwasher. To Pedro.
Hey, easy.
Easy. I'm sorry.
Easy.
I didn't mean to offend your cousin.
That's right. Thank you. Gotta get that across.
He's a good guy. Well, YouTube just kicked us off.
Yeah,
So.
well, that's it. We're off of that platform forever.
Oh yeah, but there's nothing like this out on the internet. I think for old guys. A lot of podcasts you're seeing like are for young people. You don't see anybody my age.
Mid-age, thank you.
You guys are mid-age. I'm old. I'm 55.
Yeah,
And you don't see 55-year-old
getting
guys
ready
get
to
on
have
there
a card.
and say stuff.
We're getting past mid-age.
No.
Average lifespan, I cross it this year.
What's the average lifespan?
78 for the male.
Ooh, yeah, I'm middle-aged. I'm getting old.
Whoa,
I
I'm
am
your
old
death.
now.
You're almost there.
Wow.
I'm almost there, man. I gotta get another
So
motorcycle.
you better get all this in you can. Get all your
Yeah,
pain
I'm to the
off.
point now when I wreck my motorcycle, I'm tired. I'm tired and I hurt for 2 days afterwards. So it just sucks.
Suggestion: just don't wreck your motorcycle anymore.
Yeah, that'd be nice. But we wanted one of the things that we're going to do. We're going to offend people, not because we're not confrontational. We're not even really edgy. We
I
just
usually
want to.
run from confrontation.
Yeah, we just want to be. We want to be the people that ask the tough questions. Now we do that.
Yeah.
One of the things we're leadership in our church, which you will never know of because we don't want you guys to think poorly upon the people who attend there. But one thing about our church is, like I said, we're the leadership there, but we're all contrarians. I don't know if that's actually a word, but we're contrary. Everything.
Definition.
If somebody says something, we're going to do the exact opposite. How's that?
100%.
I saw that in your notes, and I was wondering how that was going to go.
Oh yeah, those things I was supposed to.
Contrarian. I didn't know.
Contrarian. I just saw it on the front of a book. Larry Osborne wrote a fantastic book. Here's how the council culture works. His original title was 5 Stupid Things That Smart Christians Believe, and they got onto him, and he had to change it.
Wow.
He changed it to a contrarian view of the Bible or something like that, and so you wuss.
Wow.
He should have left it because I thought it was great. But that's what we are in our church. It's just kind of like, if the conventional wisdom is you have to meet at 10 o'clock on Sunday morning, we're going to say, we're going to meet on Sunday night at 6. Just because we're trying to get out of that, I don't know, that rut that all the churches seem to be in concerning this stuff. I mean, when I first planted this church many years ago, it was, Church Redefined was our tagline. And I wanted to do it differently. And then I found myself in the same rut as everybody else, doing the exact same thing everybody else. And that bothers me. It still bothers me. And so when COVID hit, our church, we quit meeting for 2 weeks?
I think it was 4.
4
But-
weeks.
but
We were meeting at homes, though.
Yes.
We met anyway. So We don't care about the
In
government.
a secret location.
In a secret location. But that kind of got people out of the habit of going on Sunday morning, and we just decided to go to Sunday night. And I'm going to tell you folks something. If your church hasn't done it, or if you, well, you won't do it anyway, but we have a little more freedom as a church plant, you know. Excuse me, but we just kind of said we're going to meet on Sunday night, and it's just glorious. When you wake up on Sunday morning and you can just relax and read a book, read a Bible, pray, go out and ride your motorcycles, do whatever you want to do, it is just glorious. And when we meet together on Sunday night, it has a whole different vibe to it.
Relaxed atmosphere.
Oh, it's so much more relaxed, and there's no time limit, and you know, so we did it and decided to throw in, you know, we're going to do a prayer, and a whole congregation prayer where we all pray for one another, and we're going to, you know, do stuff like that. And our greeting is 20 minutes long with praises and stuff like that, but it's good. So we have a contrarian view when it comes to certain things, and so we're going to challenge a lot of the conventional wisdom that's out there, because if you think about it, you look at the church and how it's set up. The church is so focused on outreach more than any time in the history of the church, and yet even before COVID, church attendance was declining. So something's wrong, and nobody's asking the questions because nobody wants to be seen as a heretic, and we don't care. So we're just gonna ask the questions. We're gonna ask tough ones, and like I said, you're gonna get mad, but we're not trying to make you mad. We just want you to think. Just think about some things. And I guess the last reason I'm doing this for my son, just to maybe somewhere we can share pearls of wisdom with him, but not only my son, maybe my grandsons down the road, and where they can look back on this and go, you know what, our dads were pretty cool. And, you know, they had fun and stuff like that. And that's it for me. You guys want to add anything? Man, it's just so stirring. You're pouring your heart out here, and I'm going to have to get some tissues out. But anything else?
I didn't want to womanify the podcast.
Well, that's true. Chickified.
Oh gosh, I said womanfied.
Womanified. You can't say that anymore.
Whammonified.
They're gonna turn you into a Mr. Potato Head. You know. I wonder, like, you know, what they, you know, I guess. Well, no, I was gonna say something that's probably bad.
I don't think they put that.
Well, you know,
part on the Mr.
okay.
Potato.
I was gonna say, are they gonna pull that part off, and it's like that's not Mr. Potato Head anymore.
Yeah, I think that part was.
They turned around on that actually.
Mm-hmm.
They came back and said that's not what they were.
Yeah, they were just rebranding.
Yeah, supposedly their original view was it was just a rebranding of the entire brand, not Mr. Potato and Mrs. Potato. It was just Potato Head as a brand.
Yeah.
So.
But, you know, that's the thing about Christians and conservatives, man. We just see something and our eyes just black over. We just go, ah! And, man, we just go crazy about stuff. And then you just got to stop every once in a while and like, okay, that's not really what happened. It's like when somebody sends me a picture of Evan McGregor dressed as Obi-Wan.
Like if you love Jesus.
Like if you love Jesus. If you're not scared to share this. And it's like, dude, it's Obi-Wan Kenobi. It's like, okay. I'm like, I pass it on. I'm not ashamed of Obi-Wan Kenobi. I thought he was a cool guy. But keeping with our contrarian view here, and this has been a source of contention among the group. We're not going.
If I saw this,
I didn't read the notes, so I have no idea.
We're not going to do comments.
Oh,
that wasn't the notes.
I did read.
I did put that in. We're not going to do comments. We're going to be different from every other podcast because we don't care what you think.
No, we started this to tell you what we thought.
Yeah, go out and start your own podcast if you want to give opinions.
Yeah,
but we're just not going to do it. And people are like, well, if you don't care, just go ahead and let them say it anyway. It's like, that's just stupid. I mean, they didn't work with your mom and dad, did it? No. Yeah? You wanted to offer your opinion to your mom and dad. They were like, shut up.
Yep, usually got backhanded.
You got backhanded. Too. So, you know, that's just stupid. We're not going to do that. But your opinion doesn't matter, and our opinions don't matter.
No, not at all.
They don't.
No, that's why they're an opinion.
But they matter. Our opinions matter to people that we're close to. I mean, our opinions matter to our wives and our children, our church family, and our good friends and people that we know. But to other people, you know, it's just an opinion. It doesn't matter to anybody.
Mm-hmm. Well, it will. That's today's culture. Your opinion,
oh gosh,
can set somebody over the edge. I mean,
yeah,
it doesn't take much anymore.
Or their opinion can infringe on your freedom.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing. If you get somebody in here and they start commenting, and then they find out there's one other person who agrees with them, then all of a sudden it becomes a rabid horde with pitchforks.
Mm-hmm. The cancel culture.
The cancel culture. Oh my gosh, it's so irritating now. You guys, you little snowflakes out there would never have survived in the 70s and 80s.
Oh gosh, not even the 90s or early 2000s.
Oh my gosh, y'all the biggest wusses I've ever seen in my entire life.
You know what happens when I find something on Facebook or YouTube that I don't agree with or I don't like? I just scroll on. It doesn't affect my day. I don't let it ruin my day. I go, oh, that's stupid, and I just continue on my life. They have the right to believe what they want. They have the right to say what they want.
Exactly,
and that's fine.
I don't
have to agree with it.
That's our libertarian bent right there. It's like, as long as it doesn't, and I know, granted, we're pro-life, we're against abortion. I know that doesn't infringe on us personally, but that's an abomination to God. That's different. But your lifestyle choices and stuff like that, yeah, I think they're an affront to God. I think they're against Scripture, and I'm going to say stuff about it. Mm-hmm. And you can take my opinion or not take my opinion. That's fine. But I'm not going to hate you. I'm not going to try to cancel you. I hope that you change. I hope that Christ gets you. The Holy Spirit changes you. But I'm not going to say you have no right to exist. No. I'm going to remove you from existence because I disagree with what you're doing, and that's what these people are doing. They're horrible people.
Well, and that's the thing. It's like, the libertarian side says, you can do whatever you want. As long as it's within legal terms, you can do whatever you want, and you can say whatever you want. That's freedom of speech. That's just what we have this wonderful amendment to protect that. But the problem is, now I want to say something and it hurts somebody else's feelings. Now, well, I can't say that anymore. Right. And then that's where the line is just it's gone.
Well, I mean, they used to do that. I remember when Tipper Gore came out, and you see those parental advisory things, and that came out. But even then, it wasn't like we're going to get rid of it. We're just going to warn people what you're doing. Yeah. And that's fine. Just warn people this might be offensive to it, but don't take away their right to do it. Let them say, if an atheist wants to get on there and act like an idiot, which they are, then let them, Yeah.
And I'll fight for that right for them to do so.
Yes.
They have the exact same right.
They have a right to say what they want to say, because what happens is, even we as Christians, when you get there and you start trying to censor people and they're going to censor the church one day. That's what will happen, and so we don't want that to happen. How we doing? We doing good on time?
With the comments, we're at 22 minutes.
Oh wow!
With the comments, it will both help and hurt us. Sometimes comments drives up popularity with video content and draws people attention to it, and then sometimes the words used within comments bring unnecessary attention to it. Mm-hmm. Like I was commenting legitimately on somebody's post a couple weeks ago. It was a person on Facebook. They were asking legitimately for good Christian books to read, and I listed some of the books that I've enjoyed over the last couple of years, and one of them is Christians Are Hate-Filled Hypocrites. Mm-hmm. That's the name of the book. And the other one was Pagan Christianity, and the other one is Why Women Hate Church, or Why Men Hate Church. And my comment got deleted by Facebook. They said it went against their policy. So just legitimate book names were unacceptable by Facebook comments.
Wow.
Facebook is a monster. Facebook is a monster that has spawned little monsters. Mm-hmm. It really is. And everybody just kind of got used to this thing where I'm just going to randomly share my opinion. And like I said, we were talking about earlier, I mean, I get on YouTube and I get a recommendation, and here's a cat playing a piano while, chugging a tuna fish, or and I may think it's stupid, but I feel not at all. I don't feel compelled to write a comment.
No, I've never been compelled to write a comment on something I disagreed with,
especially a mean comment.
I've been compelled to write comments in agreement, but
if I agree,
I think what you're doing is wrong. I wouldn't have said that.
Yeah, if I disagree, I close it out and I move on. I mean, it's not worth any time of my life.
Right.
If I disagree with it, okay, move on.
I'm not going to get into an argument with people. I'm not going to, I'm just going to, I can state what I want to state. If I feel compelled, I have commented a couple of times, but about things that don't matter, I don't comment about those things. But it just seems like there's people just sit at home and they're just like, they're waiting. They're waiting for the next something to come up on the interweb, and they're just like, I got to comment.
Oh, yeah.
And they because
it gives them a sense of being, I suppose. Gives them a sense of accomplishment. They have nothing better to do. They haven't done anything else with their life. So, I know what I can do. I can get on here and I can go against these mean people. They're so mean to me.
Yeah, with
all their hate-filled comments.
With things that don't even matter sometimes. It was just last year I made a comment about a video game. The video game I play the most, Destiny, and in that game I play a warlock class. And just some person I didn't know, a friend of a friend, got on there and told me that I was wrong and put the definition of warlock on there, that I couldn't be a pastor and a video gamer that played as a warlock at the same time. And that's what we don't want to happen here.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I mean, you just did it right there anyway.
Well, and then you got that whole thing, this week with the whole super straight thing. I don't know if you saw that or not, but
I saw the headline.
TikTok,
I didn't
because
read it.
They say straight now that you have to, if you're straight, you still have to be attracted to trans people.
Oh.
Because it's still the other sex. Even though if a biological male decides to become a female, that you're supposed to be attracted to that person because they're female now. So the guy just got on TikTok and he was just, throwing some shade saying, well, I've come up with my new gender class now, and this is called super straight. And they got on there. He's got death threats from these people.
Because they're crazy.
Because they are absolutely insane.
They are insane.
They are insane. Like, he was doing it in jest, but while saying, hey, this is silly. If I'm straight, it's just, that should be the word, straight. But he got on there, and like I said, he kind of made a goof out of it. TikTok removed his video, and he's getting hate mail and death threats. I read some of the comments about one guy said, I want to strangle you with my bare hands. And how loving and intolerant is that in this loving and tolerant society we have of all
But that comment was probably allowed.
It was absolutely allowed.
Oh, yeah.
Even though it incited hate.
So the guy can't say he's super straight because he doesn't want to date a trans person.
But I want to kill you is okay.
I want to strangle you with my bare hands is allowable.
Yeah.
It is the society that we live in.
I say if the guy wants to strangle me with his bare hands, I'll give him my address. Say, come on, big boy.
I'm your huckleberry.
Yeah, come get it.
Come on, bud.
Come get you some.
Yeah. But it's our society is stupid. You have to earn the right to be heard. That's kind of what I believe. I just know how it was like when I was growing up. You're going to hear that a lot. But
back in my day, uphill both ways of school.
When we used to hit our women on the head and drag them into the cave, and say, "Cook that saber tooth." But we would go over before they had interweb video games and all this stuff. My mom and dad would go over to like the Taylors, and we would go over there and hang out with the kids, and we'd have a great time. That fond memories of that. Mm-hmm. And if they were sitting in there playing cards, and I walked by and Mr. Taylor says something I didn't agree with, and I said, "Hey, I'm going to tell you why, you're stupid and fat."
Ooh.
You'd hear two sounds. You'd hear my father's hand hitting my head, and then my face hitting the floor. That's what you'd hear.
Yep.
And everybody in there would say, like, "Yeah, you deserve that." But today, we can sit in here. I'm 55. You guys are in your late 30s, and some 12-year-old kid who has a face like a pepperoni pizza can sit behind a keyboard and go, "You guys are fat and ugly and stupid, and I don't like you, and I want to kill you." Mm-hmm. Then there's no repercussions.
No.
And this is why they need safe spaces.
That is 100% why.
Because there's no repercussions for the actions and things that they say. We were all in high school. We had the right as a freshman to go up to the senior captain of the football team and tell him he's an idiot, and then he would punch us in the face.
He also had the right to stuff you in a locker.
He would stomp a mud hole in you, and the principal would walk by and say, "You deserved that."
Yeah, I wish those days were still around.
Right. These people today, that's why you have so many safe spaces at college. You know why? Because they go in, and these kids who have never been challenged on anything all of a sudden find out that what they believe is not right.
They get challenged. They don't know how to take it.
They don't know how to take it.
Yeah.
Because they're never challenged on what they believe. There's no repercussions for what they say. So they walk in and go, the professor says, "Well, 2 + 2 = 4." And they're like, "Well, Mommy said 2 + 2 = 5. And medulla oblongata. But instead of attacking the professor like the water boy did, they have to go to a safe place, a safe space. I can't even say it. It disgusts me so much. And grab a little teddy bear and go, "He touched me here." And it's just, these people are Mm.
Well, that's not how you
As
really
Jesus
feel.
said in his word, get a life. No, he didn't. I'm taking it back. I came that you might have a life. No, I came that you might have life and have it more abundantly. I wish he had said, in the Greek it says, get a life.
Look it up.
Well, look it up.
Nobody understands it anyways.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just don't argue with liberals. It's not worth your time. Liberals, you can tell a liberal, they have no sense of irony, no sense of hypocrisy. Like Nancy Pelosi could say, don't slap people and then turn around and slap someone right after it.
Yep. She did that several times last year.
Right.
I mean, not slapping, but
Yeah.
her actions, yes.
They have no sense of humor, and they have no sense of reason.
No.
You can't reason with
It's their
them.
way or the highway.
So our churches, every Sunday we get together and we're just going I'm just going to sit here and we got these liberals who have come in and we're just going to try to tolerate them and hopefully try to convince them you're not. It's got to be the power of the Holy Spirit. And maybe one day we'll get out there trying to convince people, but we have allowed crazy people to come into the church. It's our own fault. I mean, we have. I know the blue hairs are already starting to type, but there are crazy people in the church.
Yes, there are.
And because you guys know, now you won't say it, and those of you listening, you won't say it either, but if you come across a Christian that has good sound theology and doesn't have basement filled with dead bodies, you're just kind of like, oh, cool. This is great. Because Christians are they're just strange, man.
They're odd people.
The church is
Majority
a
of them.
giant bug zapper for crazy people.
Yeah.
It is, because outside of on our marquees and stuff like that, we have this big thing in bold letters that say, "Come as you are, you'll be accepted."
Dead
And so a
bodies
crazy
and all.
person, yeah. Well, I can go there. They gotta like me, and so they go there, and we're just like, we just love on them, and then they call their friends and go, "We gotta go over here," and then they bring their crazy friends, and the next thing you know, the church is crazy.
Yep.
It's been infected
seen
by
it
crazy
happen.
people, and that's what happens. And when I talk about crazy, I'm not talking about personality, because we're all crazy in our own little weird way.
yeah.
I'm talking about crazy practices, crazy traditions, crazy doctrine, those things, and we just welcome them in there. We need to get to the point sometime, I don't know when that will happen, of, hey, you have this doctrine that we don't agree with as a church. We're going to give you some time to, we're going to talk with you about it. Hopefully show you the scripture. But if you're not going to change what you believe, you got to go. Because this is what we believe as a church.
Mm-hmm.
And, oh boy, yeah.
You just rattled
And
some
fairies
cages
might
there.
fly out of my
Yeah.
butt. That's never going to happen. But, so that's another reason why I don't want comments, because I don't want Christians to get on here and just go off.
Is it the super Christians? There's
Oh
super
my
word for
gosh.
you.
The two people who are going to destroy your church are the super Christians, who you will never be spiritual enough for.
No, you know what? Usually they do you a favor by showing up to church.
Oh, yes.
That's
oh,
the
yeah.
attitude they have.
They are God's
doing you a
gift to
favor
the
by
church. And
being
they'll tell you that.
100%, yeah.
And super emotional people.
Oh, gosh.
People who cannot handle their emotions will destroy your church. And you got to sit down with these people and say, change your crazy or take it somewhere else. And I tell you what, being at a new church plant, we have that luxury of just, look, we don't tolerate crazy people. And that was going to be the tagline there we kind of kicked that around, that we want to be the church for normal people. And we didn't think that'd fly too well.
No, probably not.
But we just kind of thought about it. So,
You even said that this week. When you were talking to our guest this week, you said, don't bring a bunch of crazy people.
yeah, they said, we have a bunch of friends we can bring. I said, don't bring crazy.
Yeah, don't bring crazy. We've been getting rid of the crazy.
We've done a good job. Our church right now, I mean, there's such a fantastic spirit there. Everybody's loves one another. You don't have to walk on eggshells around anybody. It's just a really fantastic spirit at the church right now. And yeah, we want people to show up, and that's great. If you're thinking about coming by our church, that's fantastic. But if you're going to come in there and you're going to be like, well, I think Jesus Christ's secret identity is Spider-Man. It's like, okay. Well, you're not staying here, dude. But hey, I've heard crazier things, right?
Yeah, I mean, that would probably be pretty mild compared to some of the stuff
Yeah,
we've heard.
some of the stupidity that we hear. And on that bombshell, we're going to wrap up, and we thank you for watching the Gospel Broalition. We hope that we made you laugh. We hope that we ticked you off, but we're not going to let you say anything.
Yeah, we want to take you up, but we're not going to hear about it.
Yeah, so we don't care.
Wonderful.
So have fun. And as always, if you want a bro mug, you can. And on the back we have this little thing. Seriously, if you want one, I'll get you one. But on the back it says send comments to the Gospel Broalition at Nobody Cares What You Think. And that's true. Earn the right to be heard. And so on that, we'll see you guys later. God bless you all. Have a fantastic week.
Yep, see you next time.
See ya.
Yeah.
The Gospel Broalition is done, leaving behind charred minds, exhaust fumes, ammo, multiple cigar wrappers, and an empty bottle of bourbon. Mission accomplished. You've been listening to the Gospel Broalition with Pastor Lee, J.R. Robinson, and the Hoosier Hillbilly, Mike Paul. A show for men, by men. If it's religion, politics, cars, guns, cigars, and anything else flammable, we're talking about it. We hope you enjoyed the show. We know we had fun. We'll be back soon, and thank you for being a part of the Gospel Broalition.